Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to Valorant News, and the OpTic Valorant team in action for the first time yesterday up against Rise. Definitely want to dive into that series, but also Sinatraa sharing his thoughts on potentially becoming a pro player again, and the one reason why he might not decide to go down that route if the opportunity presents itself. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. Let's just dive straight into things. First, this is mixwell that was kind of fighting to kick off the day, back when Tarek and mixwell of course were part of the OpTic CSGO lineup. Those are good times, but as he says, we're back 2 players with the roster goal sick. My boy Tarek and I will be subbing in for the match against Rise. Not of course what happens at the end of the day, but yes, the Rise OpTic series, or the Rise Envy series, as I'm sure a lot of people considered it, was very interesting and very entertaining. We'll dive into that here in a couple of minutes time. Firstly, I want to talk about the EMEA region because wow, the Russian guys have been absolutely killing it lately. The Na'Vi team comes out, they're absolutely firing on all cylinders right here. Of course, Gambit, we saw a couple of days ago, they won their game against Liquid relatively comfortably, and I mean, yeah, right here, the London guys can't do enough against JD with a very nice clutch on the Na'Vi side. They win that series. Then Guild take down BBL as well, also in the EMEA side. So some interesting games most certainly. Definitely a lot of talented teams in this region. And right now that the Russian guys are absolutely on fire. Like even on Fnatic, right? They brought in that Russian guy and he was killing it for them a couple of days ago. These then are the group standings right now in EMEA. So after 1 week, of course, there's still plenty of weeks of action to go here before it gets determined which teams are going to start in the winners front. But yeah, Na'Vi, Gambit and Fun Plus Phoenix in the top 3 over the group A side. Of course, Liquid down here now 0-1. They lost to Gambit, that's pretty tough. But yeah, still some work to be done over there. Group B, Ascend number 1, Guild, Fnatic. G2 down here, of course, the 0-1 teams. Not too much to read into it as yet, but most certainly interesting to keep an eye on. Let's dive into the North American Valorant scene then, because OpTic played yesterday. Of course, this was the Envy squad, now rebranded as OpTic, given the merger that went down, well, several months ago now. But before we kind of get into this, wanted to talk really about what Sinatraa has kind of been up to lately, because he's been watching all these games in a watch party, and certainly he's been giving his thoughts on potentially coming back as a pro player at some point or another. Lots of talk about this right during the off-season, whether it could be possible that Sinatraa gets back on the lineup. Like, it was kind of difficult to see where that might happen. It seemed like offers may have been there at some point, but then teams kind of didn't really want to give an offer because maybe it's bad optics, right? That's kind of the concern right now, that if one team kind of takes the plunge, even if it might make their team significantly better, the backlash that will obviously happen to some degree is that kind of unknown quantity as to exactly how much they'll face for it and how long it'll last. These sort of questions, they don't really want to go in for it. But Sinatraa's given his thoughts really on exactly why he thinks that, okay, being a pro player again would be pretty fun, but he also enjoys streaming, and he also very much enjoys the fact he doesn't have to get on every day and scrim, right? Scrimming is the thing that, gets tiring after a time. Sinatraa's saying, look, if I don't have to scrim again, probably wouldn't be the end of the world for me. So maybe he's considering, look, at the end of the day, going back as a pro might not be the best decision, but well, then it was actually Zoms and dapr, I believe, that turned up to his apartment while he was streaming during the Rise OpTic series we'll dive into in a second. And I mean, yeah, I thought it was just good to see the chemistry back again between these guys when they used to be teaming, I guess, on the Sentinels side, and maybe he misses that kind of comradeship on the roster to some degree.
Would you ever consider going back pro? Maybe. I'm chilling, bro. Yeah. Living life as a content creator. Fire. I got no obligations, no cap. Copium? That's not even copium. Like, I miss tournaments, but do I miss scrimming every day? I don't know about that, but definitely not.
A disgusting shot.
It's like ambient.
Mako pulled up.
Should I shut the door? What, Mac?
OpTic are about to lose. It's 1-1.
Bro, how do you live like this?
What?
The bed is on the floor, you guys in the dark, in the
Neptune's popping. Neptune says, I'm not gonna lose.
FNS been going ham. Nah, let's stop that.
This guy said Zoms got me brick.
YouTube has no delay? Really? Am I about to watch Valorant on YouTube though?
Shit, hella brick.
Oh, okay. I can find the stream.
Am I out of frame?
You guys said dapr noticed me. Are you? I don't know. Let me see.
You're trying to move
Ooh,
so
that's
quick,
perfect.
I can't read.
That's actually perfect. Zom's looking like Harry Potter.
So let's dive into this OpTic versus Rise series then. Of course, technically the Envy team still, but they're going to be OpTic from now on, so I guess we'll go down that route. And well, they were in action for the first time against Rise. Honestly, I thought OpTic played pretty well, but Rise were just straight up next level. Like, Rise played incredibly well. This was, to me, like a kind of a look back at the last chance qualifier Rise, when they were storming all the way through and only lost to Cloud9 Blue in the grand finals there to not quite make it to champions. But through the entirety of the open qualifiers, it felt like, okay, Rise are not quite at their best. Like, what have they done here? Have they fallen fallen off a little bit because it was actually a question whether they'd still be part of this organization because they kind of wanted to leave and go to another org. And then FaZe wanted to buy these guys out and have them alongside babybay, but they wanted to keep Shanks on the roster. There's a lot of talk about Shanks, right? Okay, on the Jets. Might not always be the most powerful player in the world, but still generally makes some pretty good plays. But to be fair, the guys on Rise were on fire this series. They got back to great form here. And I mean, look, especially Neptune down the stretch. This game 1 goes to the favor of Rise. Then OpTic managed to bounce back in game 2. It looked like they were going to go down 2-0. They clutch up here on this game 2 on Haven. I'm pretty sure FNS was actually leading the charge in the slaying department. Not always the greatest sign, but Ye turned up towards the end. OpTic win the game 2. They send it all the way to a game 3. And I mean, yeah, here we go on Ascent. And this is the thing. This is where Neptune just went absolutely rogue. I mean, look at this on the pistol round right here as well. Like, just getting some ridiculous kills through the smoke. Like, this goes out of control. 27 and 12 he was at the time. We'll have a look at the final stats here in just a few minutes' time because, I mean, wow, this guy was on fire. And I was honestly really impressed. It's not just the fact that OpTic maybe didn't play up to their potential. In fairness, we saw the likes of Sentinels, 100 Thieves, these guys that have taken something of a break for the last couple of months and it's obviously been difficult to keep up with. They're probably going to come in a little bit rusty, right, around the edges going into this new season. But certainly OpTic were favourites here. Rise didn't look so good in the open qualifier. They kind of struggled to make it all the way through. That made me think that, okay, Rise, maybe they're not at peak form right now. But yeah, still lots of work for Envy and the OpTic guys, of course, now to do because, I mean, yeah, Rise were pretty much flawless this series. Now, Ye did make a crazy clutch here towards the end of Ascent to at least keep the dream alive for the OpTic guys, but still doesn't work out for them. But it's a really nice play here to get the 1 versus 3. But yeah, not quite good enough at the end of the day. They fall short, and FNS says, 1-2 to Rise Nation, GG's, we will do better. That's the thing. I mean, these guys maybe a little bit of a rust going on, but yeah, Rise just played phenomenal. I think you don't want to take anything away from the Rise guys, especially because, as Superman says, played with 30% packet loss second half of the second map and all of the third map, but my team got me. 2-1 versus OpTic. Neptune was honestly out of control this final series. He even kind of showed a clip of his perspective right here, where it seems to be a bit of a lacking around in this situation. So, yeah, it seems like everything's kind of dodgy, which is kind of strange right at the end of the day, but I'm still kind of impressive, frankly. The Superman can have a situation like this, and still you've got Neptune coming out and absolutely firing on all cylinders and carrying them to the victory. Like, just a phenomenal performance from those guys. As Ye says, I made some very poor decisions in that series. Wouldn't have made some of those. We would have closed out a lot more rounds. Definitely a lot of the ecos, right? That's the thing. We see a lot of eco victories lately, and the OpTic guys certainly threw away a fair few of them in this series as well. So, as I say, plenty of time for OpTic to turn it around, but I was just very impressed by Rise Nation in this series. These were the overall stats. On Bind game number 1, it goes 30-10 in favour of Rise. It was Derek kind of leading the lines right here. Then on the second map, Haven, early on it was FNS. Ye took over towards the end, 23-13. But this final game was just the Neptune show. 27-13 he was, plus 14 on the KO. This is kind of the thing that a lot of people have been talking about this series. Neptune on the KO has been kind of a revelation for these Rise guys as of late. And lots of people have suggested, okay, some of these other rosters, they've got to consider bringing KO into the meta. The likes of Sentinels, right? Like, could Sick run the KO instead? Like, lots of talk about that because Sky, KO, there's been some questions there. But Neptune certainly makes the KO work, which may well have some significant degree in switching up the meta. The overall series stats, Neptune's plus 18, Derek's plus 9. And yeah, it's a decent series on the other side. FNS had a pretty tough map at 4-16 here on the Ascent, 13-9. But again, very close series on the whole. The stat line the entire series was really back and forth, a very entertaining affair. And at the final series of the day was XSET versus Evil Geniuses. This one was relatively comfortable for XSET, 2-0, not all that much to discuss on this front. And then let's talk about exactly how the groups look right now. So this is how it goes. The Guard leading the way in Group A, Cloud9, XSET, 100 Thieves, EG and LG down here at the bottom. Of course, the 3 teams to lose. 100T and EG, I guess right now kind of tied, given the rounds 4 round against is basically the same. And then in Group B, version 1, of course, dominated the Knights, Rise, Sentinels, top 3 right now. But of course, well, plenty can still change. The top 4, of course, here qualify for the playoffs, as you can see by the nice green and red bars here on VLR.gg. If you guys want to kind of explore this for yourself. But yeah, NRG and OpTic down here 4th and 5th right now. These guys play each other next week. Very exciting stuff. This is the schedule for next week in the North American side. Knights play Sentinels and Evil Geniuses play LG on the day 1. XSET Cloud9, Rise version 1. And then the Sunday, honestly, I think is a banger. NRG versus OpTic and 100 Thieves the Guard. Those are 2 great matches. Lots of implications for how this group is going to turn out. Once we see a couple of weeks of action, things are going to become increasingly clear as to how these top teams are faring. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit on the like button. Tell us on YouTube gods, it's a good video. I just like you should see it as well. And help grow the competitive Valorant community. Thank you as always, take care, and I will see you next time.
I did. I don't even want to watch at this point.
Oh! The second is found. It's just one more to go. Can Ye get it? There's the time.
Oh!
Wow.
Wow.
4 HP. Did he have 4 HP on that fight?
No. The last one, no, I think he has one.
Wow.
I think he got 1 bullet. I could be wrong.
Dude, I want to see a replay, but I can't.
Yeah.
I
I
don't know
want to
what's
see
happening
it
with
like
the audio.
in sync.
Yeah, it's such a throw off.